Jagger, so you often speak of digestion as a sacred process. How can eating and digesting consciously become a form of meditation and even a spiritual service? Jagger, yes, absolutely. Every bite is a sacred offering. The act of eating can be turned into annayagya, a food offering to the divine within. When we chew slowly, breathe calmly, and eat with gratitude, the body receives the food as prana, not burden. This mindful digestion generates clarity, not heaviness. Modern science confirms that the parasympathetic, the rest and digest activity, is enhanced when we eat calmly, improving metabolism and nutrient absorption. Spiritually, it teaches us santosha or contentment. We learn to take only what we need, neither wasting nor craving. Gurudev often says, when the mind is at peace, digestion happens effortlessly. Thus, digestion is both a biological and spiritual process to Sudarshan Kriya. The breath refines our inner fire, our Agni, so that emotions and food are both digested without residue. In serving the body this way, we serve the universe itself, or a healthy, peaceful person naturally radiates harmony to others. Now, how does practicing Sudarshan Kriya and Bhastrika Pranayama influence our food habits and our inner relationships with nourishment? Jagadath, the more we practice these breathing techniques, the more refined our inner perception becomes. Sudarshan Kriya balances the nervous system, reducing emotional hunger, those cravings that arise from stress, loneliness, or fatigue. Bhastrika, on the other hand, energizes and cleanses the system. Together, they shift us from mechanical eating to intuitive eating. You start naturally choosing foods that make you light and alert rather than heavy and dull. It's as if your body starts voting for sattvic food, fresh fruits, grains, nuts, because your prana vibrates higher. Gurudev often says, when you eat, what you eat becomes your mind. A person who practices a kriya begins to eat less out of compulsion and more out of awareness. The self discipline is not forced, it flows effortlessly. Serving yourself a wholesome food and your mind peace through breath is the highest expression of self care and devotion. The result, you get richer not in calories but in calmness, creativity, and compassion. Now, most people and many people struggle to balance their food choices with busy lives. How can art of living wisdom help us serve both our schedules and our souls without stress? Then that's where the simplicity of art of living wisdom shines. We don't need complex diets, we need conscious connection. When we practice a few rounds of bhastrika or a few minutes of silence before eating, the food moves from hurry to harmony. This small act signals the digestive system to prepare calmly, just like opening the gates of a bank before transactions begin. So Darshan Kriya helps release emotional toxins, reducing stress-induced overeating. Even the act of cooking becomes sacred, done with music, mantras, and joy. Serving your own meal with gratitude is the same energy as serving food to others. The more we align with nature's rhythm, daylight eating, light dinners, and hydration, the more efficient our body's economy becomes. We digest faster, think clearer, and sleep deeper. Ultimately, art of living teaches that health is not a struggle but a celebration. Every breath, every bite, every moment can be seva. Now, in one of the recent Art of Living reels, Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankarji said, serve yourself first with awareness, then the world will automatically benefit. How can we apply this wisdom to eating, digestion, and abundance? Now, the Gurudev's message reflects a deep Vedic truth. Deho Devalaya Proktah. The body is a temple. When we serve this temple through conscious eating, mindful digestion, and grateful living, we are actually performing seva or selfless service. Every morsel of food, when taken with awareness, becomes prasada, a sacred offering that energizes not just the body but also the mind. From an art of living perspective, healthy eating begins with gratitude and mindfulness. When we eat in silence, chew thoroughly, and avoid multitasking, the digestive fire or Agni works efficiently. Simple practices like Bhastrika Pranayama, Sudarshan Kriya, and evening meditation balance our hormones, improve metabolism, and keep the nervous system calm. A calm mind digests food better, and a well digested meal gives clarity and creativity. Now, when digestion is strong and thoughts are clear, our work and wealth creation also becomes effortless. Gurudev often says, when you are stress free, success follows. By eating consciously, working joyfully, and serving selflessly, we attract both health and prosperity. Now, real service begins when we radiate vitality, cooking wholesome food for family, teaching others meditation, or sharing knowledge that uplifts. This is Anna Seva and Jnana Seva, food and wisdom service, twin pillars of the art of living. When both are integrated, we become richer inside and outside, serving the world through our own balanced example. Now, in another Art of Living reel, Gurudev said, when you feed the body with purity and the mind with knowledge, the soul begins to celebrate. How does this teaching help us serve both ourselves and others while becoming truly rich in health, wisdom, and wealth? This reel beautifully sums up what we call the Sampurna Seva, complete service. Gurudev's message is not about charity alone, it's about living in such a way that every act nourishes both the self and society. There are two primary ways to do that: the Anna Seva, or the service to food, and Jnana Seva, service to wisdom. When we eat healthily, we honor the divine within. A simple sattvic meal, freshly cooked grains, vegetables, ghee, fruits, and gratitude purifies the body. Proper digestion ensures that ojas, or the vital energy, is produced, leading to glowing health, patience, and focus. This inner strength naturally manifests as success and abundance in our external world. Wealth then becomes a byproduct of wellness. But physical nourishment alone isn't enough. Just as the stomach needs food, the mind needs knowledge. Through daily meditation, chanting, and listening to Gurudev's wisdom or reading Gurudev's books, we feed the mind with a higher understanding. This is Jnana Seva, serving ourselves with truth and clarity. When we share this knowledge, maybe by teaching a breathing technique or cooking healthy meals for others or helping a friend experience meditation, we multiply that energy. In the Art of Living, we say health in the body, harmony in the mind, and humility in service. That's the formula for true richness. You don't need to chase prosperity. When body and mind are aligned through conscious eating, right digestion, seva, and prosperity naturally follows effortlessly, joyfully, and sustainably. Now, in one of Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar Ji's reels, he said, meditation makes you magnetic. What you seek begins to seek you. How can mindful eating and proper digestion amplify this magnetic power of abundance? This is one of Gurudev's most practical and profound insights. The body is an instrument of energy, and the mind is its conductor. When both are tuned together through mindfulness and meditation, we radiate a vibration that attracts prosperity, peace, and purpose. When we eat with awareness, without rushing, scrolling, or arguing, the act of eating becomes a meditation in itself. The body receives the food in a calm, receptive state, allowing the digestive system to work efficiently. Ayurveda explains that the Jataragni, the digestive fire, is directly connected to prana, our life force. A peaceful mind keeps the Agni strong, ensuring that food turns into energy rather than toxins. Now, when meditation follows this, when we sit quietly after meals or practice Sudarshan Kriya daily, the energy produced by good digestion rises upward. It fuels creativity, intuition, and decision making. A well fed, well digested, and well rested person naturally becomes magnetic. Opportunities, people, and success begin to flow towards such a person effortlessly. Now, Gurudev often says, don't run behind money, make yourself so valuable that money runs behind you. This value doesn't come from stress or overwork, it comes from vitality, serenity, and joyful service. Through Art of Living practices, mindful eating, deep breathing, meditation, and seva, we align our inner system. The result, we not only digest food but also digest life. The energy we radiate becomes nourishment for others through smiles, good work, and wisdom. That is how true abundance begins inside the body through awareness and blossoms outside as prosperity and grace. Now, in one of the recent reels, Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar Ji smiled and said, when you breathe, your breath flows right, hunger hormones and happiness fall in harmony. How does the Sudarshan Kriya create this balance in both body and mind? Jagadav Gurudev's words reveal the subtle science of breath. Every emotion changes the rhythm of breathing. Anger makes it short and fast, sadness heavy and long. Joy is soothed as smooth and deep, but Sudarshan Kriya reverses this process through rhythmic breathing. It resets the emotional patterns, balances the nervous system, and aligns the body's natural cycles, including hunger and hormonal rhythms. When people practice Sudarshan Kriya regularly, the stress hormones cortisol and adrenaline reduce while serotonin and dopamine, the happy hormones, increase. This directly affects metabolism and digestion. The craving for junk or emotional eating decreases, and the body naturally asks for lighter and sattvic food. The digestive system now relaxes, works efficiently, turning nourishment into vitality rather than fat or toxins. Now, hunger becomes natural, not emotional. You start eating when you are truly hungry, not when bored or anxious. This awareness of eating rhythm combined with breath awareness transforms your entire biochemistry. Gurudev often says the breath is the bridge between the body and mind. When that bridge is strong, energy flows evenly. You feel calm yet dynamic, peaceful yet powerful. That's when real happiness arises, not as excitement but as contentment. Through Art of Living Sudarshan Kriya and meditation, you don't suppress hunger or emotions, you harmonize them. The body becomes light, the mind joyful, and your natural radiance attracts success and abundance. That's why we say healthy digestion, happy hormones, and heartfelt service are the trinity of abundance. Now, the real metaphorically compared calories to currency and digestion to an economy within the body. How does this concept expand into spiritual abundance to save our selfless service in the art of living path? That's a beautiful question. Yes, in the real, the food we eat turns into money that circulates throughout the body, nourishing every organ. Similarly, the energy we take from the world through food, air, relationships, and learning is like income, but true prosperity comes when we spend that energy wisely to save our selfless service in the physical body. If you hoard calories without movement or purpose, fat accumulates, leading to sluggishness. In the same way, if you hoard knowledge, wealth, or love without sharing, spiritual stagnation begins. Service is the circulation that keeps the energy economy balanced. When you serve by teaching, helping, feeding, or simply smiling, your inner system expands, the heart becomes open, and abundance flows back multifold. His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji often says the best way to receive is to give. Just as digestion transforms food into energy, Siva transforms effort into grace. When your body is nourished with healthy food and your mind with wisdom, service becomes effortless. You no longer serve from scarcity but from fullness. In Art of Living, many volunteers experience that when they dedicate time to service, their professional and personal lives blossom. It's the same universal law. Energy well spent returns multiplied. So eat consciously, breathe rhythmically, and serve selflessly. In this way, your body becomes an instrument of health, your mind a vessel of peace, and your life a fountain of abundance. Now, in Ayurveda and yogic philosophy, there is much emphasis on Agni, the digestive fire. How does this concept of Agni relate to both digestion of food and digestion of experience? That's a wonderful question. Agni is not merely a physical flame that burns food in the stomach. It represents the fire of transformation at every level, body, mind, and spirit. When Agni is strong, we not only digest food efficiently, but also process emotions, thoughts, and life events with clarity and balance. In the physical body, this fire breaks down food into nutrients and energy. In the mind, it transforms raw experiences into wisdom. When this internal flame burns steadily, you feel light, energetic, and joyful. But when it is dull due to overeating, stress, or negative emotions, heaviness, lethargy, and confusion arise. Now, His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji beautifully connects this to pranayama and Sudarshan Kriya. When we practice Bhastrika, the forceful inhalations and exhalation, it rekindles the inner fire. The breath fans the subtle flame, clearing toxins not only from the body but also from the subtle energy channels and nadis. After Bhastrika, the body feels uplifted and purified, and the mind quiet like a clear sky after rain. Sudarshan Kriya then deepens this process. The rhythmic breathing pattern balances the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, aligning body metabolism and emotional metabolism. Food is digested better, stress and fear are digested too. In this way, every pranayama session is a sacred yajna, a fire ritual within, just as offerings are made to the outer sacred fire in a homam. Through breath awareness, we offer our thoughts, impressions, and toxins to the inner fire of consciousness. A healthy digestive system sustains the body, a clear conscious Agni sustains the soul. Now, you just spoke about the connection between breath and Agni. Can our daily eating also become a meditative act, a spiritual practice that connects us to awareness and gratitude? Absolutely. In fact, eating was one of the most direct ways to experience meditation in motion. Every meal can become an opportunity to slow down, honor the food, and connect body, mind, and consciousness. His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji often says, when you eat with awareness, food becomes prasad. Mindful eating begins even before the first bite with gratitude. The moment you look at your plate, acknowledge the journey of that food, the soil, the sunlight, the farmer, the cook, and the divine intelligence that allowed it to reach you. When you start from gratitude, your parasympathetic nervous system activates. This is the rest and digest mode. Digestion automatically improves. Chew slowly, not just to break the food, but to feel it. Notice the texture, temperature, and aroma. Every bite becomes a sacred offering to your inner temple. Avoid screens or heavy conversations during meals. They disturb the subtle rhythm of digestion. The body knows exactly how much to eat. The mind just needs to be silent enough to listen. When we eat hurriedly or emotionally, we confuse hunger with anxiety, but in mindfulness, we taste nourishment and satisfaction in every morsel. Art of living practices like Sudarshan Kriya and meditation naturally cultivate this awareness. Practitioners often report that their cravings decrease, portion sizes adjust intuitively, and digestion becomes smoother. Food no longer feels a burden but a blessing. When your food becomes meditation, digestion becomes transformation, turning ordinary calories into consciousness, energy, and joy. Now, in the reel, we saw how calories were compared to money. food entering the body like income, digestion acting like spending, and fat storage like saving in the bank. Can you explain how this metaphor reflects true prosperity in both material and spiritual life, especially through the lens of the art of living? Now, this is indeed a beautiful metaphor and surprisingly profound. In the body, every calorie you consume is like currency. You earn it by eating, spend it through work, and save it as fat for future use. Similarly, in life, money is energy. It flows in through your skills and work and flows out through your actions, relationships, and contributions. Now, if we eat more than we can digest, the system stores it unnecessarily, causing imbalance. Likewise, when we hoard wealth without circulation, stagnation occurs both materially and mentally. True prosperity lies not in accumulation but in flow. The digestive fire or Agni within us symbolizes the inner intelligence that knows how much to absorb and how much to let go. Through Sudarshan Kriya and Bhastrika Pranayama, this intelligence gets reawakened. Breath becomes a regulator of both inner and outer economy. When prana of the life force flows freely, energy, enthusiasm, and abundance naturally arises. The mind becomes clear, decisions become wise, and wealth in all forms begins to circulate harmoniously. In Art of Living, Seva or selfless service is the ultimate investment. When you feed others, teach wisdom, or share joy, you multiply your inner wealth. The more you give, the more energy returns to you, just like a healthy metabolism. So, prosperity is not about how many calories or rupees you earn, but how gracefully you digest and distribute them for your body, your community, and your consciousness. Now, as we come to the conclusion of this discussion, how can we serve our body and mind through healthy eating, conscious digestion, and breath practices, while also enriching our lives and others through wisdom and service, as taught in the art of living? Jai Gurudev, this is a very meaningful question because the essence of all health and spirituality is seva or selfless service and sanyama or balance. The reel shows how the body is like a living economy. Food enters like wealth. The digestion spends it wisely and excess becomes stored fat. When we eat unconsciously, the economy of our body collapses, leading to lethargy, stress, and disease. But when we eat with awareness, breath with rhythm, and live with purpose, we become true trustees of this temple called the body. To serve the body is to feed it clean, fresh, and sattvic food, food rich not just in calories but in prana or life force. To serve the mind is to give it silence, rest, and meditation. When you practice bhastrika, you burn the vast currency and the waste currency, the toxins, both physical and emotional. Sudarshan Kriya renews the flow of energy, much like a perfect digestion cycle where nothing is wasted and everything is transformed into vitality. His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankarji often reminds us that when you are established in inner abundance, external prosperity naturally follows. Eating becomes worship, breathing becomes prayer, and service becomes joy. When you share food, time, or wisdom with others, you not only nourish them, you cleanse your own inner space. So the secret is simple yet profound. Eat like a yogi, breathe like a warrior, and live like a saint. In this balance, you will find a true art of living, where the body is light, the mind is luminous, and the heart is overflowing with gratitude and giving. Jai Gurudev.